I came across a story online that genuinely disturbed me, not because it's shocking for the sake of being shocking, but because it happened to a 13-year-old kid. I'm sharing this story as a narrated account. I don't support substance use, I don't encourage experimentation, and this is not entertainment. This is simply what happens when curiosity, addiction, and a broken environment collide too early. This story unfolds slowly, but every part of it matters. This happened when I was 13. I'm 16 now. Yeah, I'm not exactly the age you want to be messing with things like this. It was January 2023. I had just been expelled from my middle school, 8th grade, and transferred to what they call an alternative school, basically where they send kids who didn't make it in normal school. At the time, I was already deep into bad habits. I smoked whenever I could. I drank whatever was around, and I took anything I could get my hands on. My dad and his girlfriend were addicts too. A few months earlier, I walked into the garage one night and saw my dad in the corner with a glass pipe. The smell burned itself into my memory forever like gasoline mixed with cherries, rotten meat, and pure chemicals. A couple months later, the night everything went wrong, I was alone in my room, bored, no weed left, and I remembered where my dad hid the pipe. So being the kind of kid I was, desperate for something, I decided to try the crystal stuff. I went down the outside stairs. Our house was built above the garage. I opened a black metal toolbox in the corner. Inside was a bag of cloudy white crystals and a glass pipe. The crystals were dense, almost like stone. I took what was probably around a gram and went back upstairs. I didn't even have a proper pipe. I used an apple. I scraped out some tobacco, dropped a couple crystals on top, and lit it. That was the worst decision of my life. At first, I felt gone, like I stopped existing for a second. The crystals melted. That familiar chemical stench filled the air. The taste was horrible, burning, sweet, metallic. And then it hit. It felt like I was thrown into another reality, or like I became the world itself. Those few seconds were the most intense sensation I've ever felt. I kept inhaling. When I finished, I dumped the ash, already feeling drunk, disconnected, and for some reason I loaded another bowl just as big. I inhaled again. Pure euphoria flooded me. I stood up, and after that, everything blurred. I remember it was cold outside. I was shaking, but at the same time, I couldn't feel temperature anymore. It felt like the world was spinning around me while I stood still. Like I was moving the earth with my mind. My vision tunneled. The edges of reality sped up like I was traveling at impossible speed. And I remember thinking, now I understand why people get addicted, but also thinking, that won't be me. I walked to the kitchen. I felt like I was moving incredibly fast, yet somehow too slow. My brain felt like a jet engine stuck inside a tiny car. I started running around the house, burning energy, completely forgetting why I went to the kitchen in the first place. I got stuck in loops of movement until my vision almost disappeared. Then I thought, if I have infinite energy now, I should work out. I set a 10-minute timer and did a workout I sometimes did. 3 times in 10 minutes. No fatigue. None. In that state, I messaged 2 people. One was an 18-year-old guy I barely knew from my new school. I texted him, "Dude, I just smoked crystal." The second was someone I knew a bit better. I sent him a photo of the crystals and asked, "Do you think I should try it another way?" He replied, "Yeah, go for it." Later, I found out he had never touched anything stronger than weed. He was probably joking. I wasn't. I crushed the crystals, made a thick line on the kitchen counter, rolled up a bill and inhaled. It felt like my nose was being ripped apart. My throat burned. My lungs screamed, but the pain didn't matter. I felt untouchable, equal to God, or at least that's what my brain told me. After that, my memory started erasing itself in real time. Flashes. Kitchen, outside, bedroom. Nothing connected. My body shook violently like I was freezing, but inside I was overheating. I thought I should sleep. That's when my dad walked in. He didn't notice anything at first. He asked if I was okay. I said I felt nauseous. He nodded and left. A minute later, I vomited into a trash bag. I told myself I could handle it. I couldn't. I vomited again, this time onto the floor. Barely made it to the toilet. For the next hour, I threw up every single minute. My dad tried helping. Water. Questions. "What did you eat?" I lied and said old hot dogs from the fridge. He believed me. After about an hour, the vomiting slowed. Once every 5 minutes. He stopped sitting with me. I called for him sometimes. He would come in, put a hand on my back, look terrified, then leave again. Time stretched. Minutes felt like days. I felt sadness, happiness, regret, all at once. I thought maybe my mom was protecting me. She died when I was little. Then I felt something dark. I looked into the corner of the room and saw a silhouette. I was convinced there were entities around me, watching, waiting. I checked mirrors, closets, the shower. I saw shadows move, heard things. At the same time, I felt like something invisible was keeping me alive, not saving me, just refusing to let me die. I started praying. I had been an atheist. I begged anything that might exist to make it stop. Then the vomiting turned into blood. The euphoria was gone. Only hell remained. My body burned from the inside. I screamed for my dad to take me to the hospital. He thought it would pass. I wanted to die just to make it end, but I couldn't leave him. Eventually, hours later, he realized how bad it was. It was 2 a.m. when he drove me to the hospital. The ride felt endless and instant at the same time. Tunnel vision, darkness, headlights. At intake, I barely spoke. The hospital felt unreal, twisted, liminal, beautiful, and terrifying. I woke up with an IV in my arm. Fluids felt like life itself. The doctors never said what I took. They knew. They just didn't want police involved. By morning, I was stable enough to leave. The next 2 months barely existed. I lost weight. I shook constantly. I ate crackers and applesauce. My brain felt broken. It took months to return to school. Years later, the effects are still here: fear, triggers, anxiety. But I survived. Not everyone does. That's the story. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you're interested in more real, unfiltered experiences like this, you know where to find the channel. Stay safe.